What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 21, picking up from Raya Lucaria. Before we get started this episode, I would like to give a brief recap and talk about the Liurnia. This is your final castle, your legacy dungeon of the region. So with that being said, you should have everything done, aside from a few things, because we just cannot do them just yet. So up here, this is the Moonlight Altar. This is not coming until way later in the game. There's, just nothing you can do right now. Over here near your Frenzied Flame Village, you're going to have one puzzle tower that we have to do after Raya Lucaria, as we're missing a jester and a helm to actually solve that puzzle. And then you have the Three Sisters, which we did not touch because there's a very important NPC, which you can start her quest, named Ronnie, but as soon as you do that, that's going to trigger the Radon Festival. So, like I said, this very specific way we want to move forward. Either way, with that, we are ready to go. So, heading on into Raya Lucaria, one of the coolest legacy dungeons of the game. This is a nice place just to kind of take it all in. The level design is top-notch. So right before the gate, you're going to see this note. This is telling you where the Academy key was. This guy and another sorcerer were repelled from the castle during the shattering like everyone else once they put the sigils up. And they're meeting, by the dragon to get back in. So that is the meeting location. This guy got killed by the dragon, so, we got his key, and that's what's going on there. Now, this isn't a regular gate. It actually teleports you in, so it's actually going to throw you on the other side of the castle. Now, there's a few little things in the outskirts we're going to have to knock out, then we'll be ready to move forward. So immediately, you will see your side of grace right here. Now, when we grab that, what we're going to be doing is aiming for this bridge. So we'll have a golden seed at the end, and then we're going to pick up with Yura's quest. Which I will touch base on that to kind of remind you guys of Yura, because we have not talked in like 15 hours. It's been a long time. We head straight on down. You see your little golden tree with your golden seed. Anything beyond this point you cannot reach. You will see other sections of the bridge. They're unreachable. You're just going to get yourself killed. So pick that up and head on back. And we have a lot to do this episode, so we're just going to, be burning through it. Alright, so when you get up top, you're going to see this red summon sign. So Yura was the guy that warned you about the dragon way back in this camp. He's like the samurai dude. And then right before we met Patches at Markwater Cave, we did an invasion. So there are 3 invasion events for Yura's quest. Yura's quest is very important. It gets you an item that helps with one of the hardest fights in the game. It can make it pretty much impossible for a newer player without a specific tier for your flask. So with that being said, what he's doing is hunting down Bloody Fingers. Bloody Fingers are tarnished to essentially turned on their own kind, and they're hunting their own. So Yura's going after them. There are 3. There's, like I said, the one we fought down there in Limgrave. There's going to be one here in the Liurnia, and then the final one will be in the Altus Plateau. So when we go in here, me and you or whoever, we're going to team up with Yura and put this guy down. If Yura gets killed, if you get killed, don't worry about it. You can do this as many times as it takes. But all in all, with our upgrades and our level, this should be fairly easy, I would imagine. Let's see. Remember, we're the ones invading, so we're the ones that go. This guy's got blood loss and stuff too. In fact, all 3 have blood loss. So be cautious. He can get those huge rocks of, health damage, but all in all, it's not that bad. So as always, Rune Arc for Recalling Finger Remedy. Anytime you do invasions or multiplayers, you will get this item. Raptor of the Mist does exactly that. It spawns up some mist you can kind of hide in to fool people, but it's okay. It's probably better for PvP. Now, it's easy to kill that guy and keep on trucking and miss Yura here, so make sure you exhaust his dialogue. You're going to get yourself a Smithing 5. Only 1, but they're still really rare at this point.
I'm dying to see.
Then he's going to warn you of Eleanor. So Eleanor is, the most formidable of the...
Be on your harp, sweet.
So if fate permits is the end of his dialogue, that's what you need, or he will not move on. But Eleanor is the most formidable of the bunch. He's actually scared of her. He's telling you, hey, if you see her, run. Don't even try fighting her. She's just, she's too dangerous. So now that we have that caught up, what we're going to be doing is kind of going straight down here and go see another bridge. But you don't see it on your map. It's the only other path you could take. Now, when we go this way, there's going to be a few wolves. Mainly what we're after is a merchant down here, but we want to take these guys out. You know, enemies can kill merchants, so can you for that matter, so be very cautious here. We got to make sure we get his items. Now, if you happen to kill a merchant, you can get their bell bearing, turn that into the twin maiden hub, so you still get their items, but you don't want to kill merchants, guys. You know, so that's something you want to do. I mean, what if the game glitches out, you don't get the bell bearing, it doesn't drop for whatever reason, then you're fucked, because the items he has, one in particular, we need to solve the late game puzzles, but if you don't have it, you know, you're in deep shit. Well, if you want all the talismans and all the items. But it's a really powerful talisman late game you can pick up if you have, you know, an item from this guy. That's what I said, stagger attacks, man, it's so annoying. Good day. We got the alpha. You should be cleared from this point. Use your lock on, make sure. So he's gonna have two items we're gonna want.
Well, it's been how can I
Now you
help?
could have started the game with Fanged Imp Ashes, but we can buy him here. That's why I didn't recommend it. So that's 2,000. Don't worry about souls. You have a lot of runes coming your way next 2 episodes. Aside from that, Fervor's Cookbook. This gives you access to some of the sleep priests to buff your weapons, which I usually think is pretty cheesy tactic. However, for the walkthrough, there's one boss I need everybody to get past around the same time. And for that reason, I came up with a strategy that, I mean, anybody could get through a very, very tough fight. So, I mean, it's in the game, feel free to use it. I personally think it's kind of cheesy because, you're putting bosses to sleep, right? So, that's just my personal outlook. But, these items are in the game, so it's not cheesy, it's not cheating, it's just using strategies. But yeah, sleep's just kind of weird to me. Either way, guys, with that, we are cleared. So picking up from the main academy gate, before we go any more forward, I do want to show you guys something. I might not use it too much, but there's a reason we picked it up. So Ashes of War, go to your shield. You have Carry and Retaliation. So Carry and Retaliation will allow you to spell carry. Now, we're in a mage zone in the Urnia, and this is the final castle, so it's going to be, covered in magic users. Now, these guys are going to absolutely spam the fuck out of magic. It's really annoying. But not only does that allow us to parry their spells, it will also fire 3 projectiles back at them. So it can be nice. The more your shield's upgraded, the more damage that's going to do. And also can scale with intelligence or whatever your affinity is to get you a little bit more damage. So as soon as we go up, you're going to see your little gate here. We want to ignore it for the time being. Jump over here to the right. You're going to notice we're moving a little bit faster this episode than normal because we have so much to do. So back at the start of the game, before we did any content, we did like an early game run around of Limgrave, Caelid, and the Urnia to get better starting weapons for everybody and, like a few upgrades. That's what we're going to be doing this episode. Pat just told you about a transporter trap. Well, that's going to send us over to Volcano Manor. We're going to run around and get you guys some good items. Then we have the item from Vari's quest where we can go to a very late game area to grab a couple items. Then we're going to go to Caelid, take out the dragon, so we can get our legendary incantation for our platinum. And then we'll also be picking up some sombers, because if we play our cards right, guys, we are actually going to be able to have all somber stones 1 through 10 to max out a weapon about 40 hours early. So I think that's going to help everybody out. Once again, it's not really cheating. It's just taking advantage of the quest lines, taking advantage of the places and the traps they send you. So if you're just being smart, you can hook yourself up. And that's what, this episode's focused on. But with that being said, there's a lot we have to do. So, we're going to be moving quickly. So you don't have to use Carry and Retaliation, obviously. I just want to show off other things you've actually done. Look at that. 400 damage. Just send it right back at him. He said, we'll be moving here, but we're going to do it in a way where everyone can follow along. Yeah, usually I take my time a little bit more. I try to actually enjoy the game, not make it feel like such a checklist. Before I did guides, I hated that people like rush through. I'm like, it's a game, let's have fun with it, No one wants to feel like a checklist. Alright, so that's how you need to play this. You're gonna run in, just like I did. You go straight to the mage. As soon as you take him out, or just turn it around, and those guys are gonna line up, and we can take them out. So aside from them, a few others will typically drop down, maybe one around here. Yep, there he is. maybe one on the other side. Seem very inconsistent. Yeah, right here. Sometimes he comes down, sometimes he just chills. There we go. Alright. So at that, if you go all the way back to the door where we originally came in at, you could have went over here to the right for a illusionary wall. So with this being a magic zone, this place is filled with secrets. You know, filled with illusionary walls, hidden passages, hidden items. It is important to get every one of them. There's actually a few legendary items you are going to need for your trophies here. Now, once we got that, we're going to go over here to the right for a room. Right here. Right here. And then if you go behind the little podium, you're going to get a somber 3. Now we can continue on to the left for a side of grace. So for this next area, it's going to be beneficial to have blood loss or fire. We're going to be fighting more zombies. So you know when they grab you, they're going to do a lot to your health. Well, these guys will drain your mana as well. So it's something you want to be careful of, right? Now they could come out of the ground so you can't really see, or they can do that. Now, what I would do if they do happen to take all your mana, don't refill them. Wait till you get all the way past them, then refill your mana. Now, there's an item down here on the ledge to the right, but we'll work our way down to it. So at first, what we'll be doing is sticking to the top. Now, as soon as you get here, guys, kind of fly out of nowhere, so I like to run and just kind of jump out of the way. Did not line it up the best. We stayed safe, that's the big thing. Oh, I didn't get to the time. Yeah, so if they're trying to grab you, if you smack them, you know, you break them out of that. But there's just so fucking many of them, they really pile it on. Look at that, all of our mana's already gone. Right, so that's your top area, now we can head on down. You can use your lock on too, guys. Might help you out a bit. So as soon as you get about right here, if you go to the right, you can follow this through. Go all the way down. So once again, you could have dropped down, but I think this way's better, because then you got to backtrack for those other items anyways, so that makes sense. Alright, don't be fooled by him, there's more. Well, if I'm not able to kill him with two-handing, you might as well just one hand anyways, the same amount of hits. That brings you back up. I was just looking for more enemies. Now down here, usually a bunch pop up. You know what? I wonder if our boy can I get to it in time. I did have it at +3. Let's see how this guy's holding up. Yeah, same amount of hits. It does seem to come out a little bit faster. Bloodhound Fang's a phenomenal weapon. Like I said, this is like, you know, one of the best quality weapons in the game, but it's still something we could take advantage of too for a while. And we could use this our whole playthrough, just level up Faith and Dex, and use buffs. It's a solid weapon. Like I said, no matter what your build, Bloodhound will carry you to find your main weapon, I feel like. But you gotta invest in some stats at least temporarily, and you gotta upgrade it and stuff, so I like it to buy at the time, but it's not something we're gonna do too much. As soon as we get across here, guys, we're gonna take these gentlemen out. However, we're not gonna go straight. If I can get him off my ass a bit. As soon as we get them down, we're gonna shoot over here to the left and drop down. Now, you're gonna see a lower ledge. You could follow that around, but there are no items. You know, we have checked. Thank you. Then this is going to be your next Ashes, which is these guys you see. Super annoying forearm bozos, so now you have access to them as a summon, and you could be the annoying motherfucker. Because those guys suck. Alright, Silver Pickle Foulfoot, going to the right, that will, you know, catch you back up. Now, as we progress, did I take out Blood Flame Blade? No, I didn't. That would be nice. It's my favorite setup because this is going to accumulate blood loss on them and do like those little explosions coming off. It really fucks these guys up bad. That's a bigger guy, they take a bit more. See that? He's kind of shredding apart. Look at that. Now you're doing it 2 hits. Alright. So once you go all the way up, you're going to see it kind of curve to the left. Once you see this, what you're going to want to do is drop straight off. Now there's another way down here, but this is just the way I've always took. Everybody's lined up for backstab. Even Big Bro. Look at that. Goodbye. Alright, so with that, you got your first armor set. So I said at the beginning of the game, you are reliant on farming soldiers and enemies you like for armor, because the game's just so big, armor sets don't come for a very long time. We're over 20 hours in, this is your first set. Now this is for mages, it's not a bad looking set. I guess we could put it on very quickly just to show it off, as it's the first armor set that you're naturally going to find without just getting, you know, like a chance drop or farming enemies. But it's very much for mage builds. Where the fuck are you? Did it not load because I went to it too quick or something? Oh, duh. You got that, you got those, and then the pants will be right here. So that's your set. Not bad looking for mage builds. Look at that. It's actually very, very nice looking. I think the best thing to do as far as like fashion is you're going through and, you know, you're mixing it up a bit. And I won't have the weight to pull it off, but just to show, like, you know, you're going through, you're mixing it up. Look how nice that looks with, you know, your Banished Knight leggings and gauntlets. I think it's just really, really nice looking. Weight's a bit high. Now, as far as weight goes, you do need to keep in mind that we don't even have any talismans on that are boosting weight. So we'll get to a point where we're able to wear what we want because we have 25 stamina. So if you're doing like just, you're not using colossal weapons, just like regular great swords and stuff, you'll be able to use pretty much whatever shield, weapon, and armor you want at 25 stamina with one of those talismans that boost your weight, which we just don't have on yet. Once we do, we'll be set. Either way, guys, once you have that, just grab your rune, head back on up. Everything to the left is caught up, so let's go and buff up again. Once again, don't have to, but you got it, might as well use it. It definitely helps. There's going to be a bunch of dogs and guys. It's really, really shitty if you're not lined up for it. You. Let's go and heal. Alright, so this path will send you forward. We do not want to take that just yet. Over here on the left is really just crafting. Yeah, you're gonna notice there's nothing else really going on. Top right behind the tree. Right here. Get some mushrooms. The only thing really left is the Asher board. Pretty good too because it gives physical builds a ranged option. So there's going to be spectral blink. So I think it's probably be best for like a dex build. We're using like a spear, and then that Asher board will throw out a spectral spear. That way you do, as I said, you know, have access to some type of ranged option. Now that we got that, we get to actually, you know, go on and proceed. I do want to check the time because I want to fit our whole run around this episode. We're already 20 minutes in, so I might go off my notes here and wrap up early. We'll go ahead and clear out everything to our next side of grace, like the below area and everything we're doing now. But we need to go through Volcano Manor, we need to go through Bogwood's Palace, and we got to go through Caleb. So I think it would be best if we wrapped up early. I don't want to rush very important things, you know what I mean? But not to worry, that episode will be out the same day. As I mentioned with my notes, I had it all for this episode, but you know, going through it live here, I don't think we have time. Stop it. Now this guy we fought a few times, they're really not that bad. They're parry bait essentially. If not, just use guard counters. I like to parry them. I think they're fun. They're a good way to learn parries. The way his attacks come out, I think it helps out a lot. Not saying I hit every one, but almost. What helped me get good on parries is learning from one of the hardest enemies to parry. That's what helped me. Gravity Well is very similar to your meteorite spell you got from killing that same guy in the Evergel all the way up here. But it's just like one projectile that comes out. Still, it is being boosted by meteorite staff. Best staff up to this point. Which is about to be getting replaced here soon for mage builds. About to get you guys what I consider to be the best staff in the game. There's one other one that does more damage, but it costs like 50% more mana, so it's not... You're never going to be able to use it for progression, really just boss fights. But the one you get from the main boss here, scaling-wise, is absolutely phenomenal. And it's plenty, it's all you'd ever need. Really nice looking too. So riding the lift up, we'll just have a few basic bum dudes here. And you could have jumped off up top, but your side of grace is like right to that building, so I figured we'd jump off here for anyone that's worried about it. So we'll take him. We already grabbed the item by the gear. We did. Alright, so right over here, this is where Thop's quest is going to end. So try to remember this area. If not, I'll be taking you to it, but just a little heads up. Then we can go up top. These are all basic enemies. You're not going to get much of a challenge here, guys. There you go. Alright, so now that we have that caught up, we can head on down. And once you go inside, that will be your side of grace. Alright, so this is where our runaround starts. So this is where we should stop. However, the fact of the matter is what we're going to have to do. We have to go down here, and then to fall for the trap, the teleportation trap, you have to die to a boss in a very specific way. But there's items to get. So what I would like to do with the remainder of our episode now is I would like to go ahead and get the items. That way, next episode we just go down, we take the trap, and we start a runaround. So down here is going to be an abductor version. Those are those really big mechanical machines that open up and pull you in and grind you with their gears. We ran into one in Carrier Manor. You've probably only seen one though. Well, if you die to that attack where he pulls you inside of him, that's what's going to teleport you. So you have to die to that one attack. However, as mentioned, there are other items to get. So since we're not going to be dying to him this episode, we're going to take him out so we can grab all our items. And then, like I said, next episode we'll do it. You don't even have to fight him, you can just run around. No! We're not ready. We're at full health for good. Yeah, but I usually do this twice. And that's good though. Like I said, that's the attack we have to die to. Otherwise you won't get teleported. If you die to that attack, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. You get 1,500 of him, smithing 5. You start, piling those up. Once you get 12 smithing 5s, that's a plus 15 weapon, guys. Really much, you're getting up there at that point. Now over here, like the back right, you're gonna see these crystals. You can actually climb up these crystals for lost Ashes of War, which is the item to let you duplicate Ashes of War. That way you can put like the same Ashes of War on both weapons if you're dual wielding. So that's pretty nice to have. We can jump back on down. We can get our talisman. There's a talisman over here that kind of works like soft cotton, to where you're not really going to take damage from falling, or you take reduce. I'm going to see if it's reduced or not. I mean, if it falls, going to kill you, it's going to kill you. But I can't remember if it's reduced or grants immunity. Yeah, that's it. So it grants immunity to fall damage, but does not prevent death from the hot fall. So if you take like a really far leap that takes like 80-90% of your health, you won't take any damage as long as that's on. So very situational in its uses, but it's still pretty cool. That's where we're gonna get that. And really we're just backtracking up because we're done at this point. I'll put you back on path. you could just, teleport out. What I do like about doing this is you're actually able to get enough runes for a level. Because before next episode, before this trap we're going to do, we want to make sure we have no runes. As mentioned, it works as a death. So any runes you have, you're going to lose. Now you do have your sacrificial twig, but I'd save these for late game. When it's 150,000 souls a level, that's when it's more important. Oh, there's a spot. Now you will see this one item over here on the left. You're probably like, how the hell do I get that? That's going to come in a bit. That's going to come in a bit. Episode after next, when we actually start doing this next area, that's when we'll cover that. Now before we close on out, as mentioned, let's make sure we spend our runes. We do not want to lose 20,000. That's probably just enough for a level. That's the other thing. You don't want to pop more than you need because you're going to lose them. So we'll only have 1,000 to lose. That's good. So we had that 20 strength. Now we want to get 20 faith. And with that, we're good. So we did go a little bit shorter here, but that will allow us to have plenty of time for a run around. So like I said, by next episode, you guys are going to be able to get a plus 10 weapon, fully maxed out, pretty close to the start of the game. I know we've already done all this, but you guys got to remember, you still have all of Caelid. You have about 5-6 underground areas, which is probably accumulates to enough, like a region that size if you put them all together. Then you have Mount Gelmir, Altus, the capital. You have Mountaintops of the Giants. You have Consecrated Snowfield. You have the Halic Tree. You have Fair Missoula, and then you have the Ashen Capital. So this. These two areas we've done, you're probably not even 20% in the game. So having a plus 10 weapon right now is fucking insane, right? Now, with that being said, we don't want to max out anything until you find the weapon you use for the whole game, because just to let you guys know, you might get enough 1 through Somber 9, so like 3 weapons, but as far as the Somber 10, the next one doesn't come until fucking the end of Mountaintops of the Giants, like after that point. So you're talking about the very end of the game. So you have 1 shot to max out a weapon. I don't think we have any choices now that are worth it, unless you're doing Bloodhound's Fang for a quality build, or you're doing like Faith Int, because there are no other options. Sword of Night and Flame, that's solid choice. Or if you found something you like. But Strength, you guys have much better options coming. Dex, you have much better options coming. If you're doing Faith Dex, and you like this, that's worth maxing out if you like it. If you're doing Strength Faith and you like this, that's worth maxing out. But you're talking about the whole game here, guys. Other stuff's going to come. You might regret it. And then Vike's War Spear actually holds up in game. This thing does over 800 AR. Usually, only weapons that do that high of damage are weapons that are like colossal weapons, strength weapons. There's a few. The main weapon we're going for, it'll do over 800 AR, and it's like a regular, great sword, more like these, right? But that's just a solid weapon. Vike's War Spear, Dex Faith, that's something you can be proud to fully max out, and it'll carry the whole game if you like those thrust movesets. Regardless, we're at the point where we can do this run around and get you guys all these items, so you will be set up for when you do find something you like. But either way, with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up here. So, as mentioned, next episode, now that we have the bottom of, the well cleared, we'll be taking that out and starting our run. So, y'all stay tuned. Please subscribe for more walkthrough, and we will catch you back here shortly.